Thank you. Thank you very much, Senate. Thanks to all of my colleagues for being here today. I think all of us recall that when the Supreme Court issued its opinion in Shelby, Chief Justice Roberts invited the Congress to take a look at the formula. He thought the formula to be outdated since it was predicated upon the elections of 1964, though we believed that Representative Conyers and Sensenbrenner had done a very good job of developing a record updating that formula. We thought it's sufficient. Supreme Court thought otherwise, but for some reason, the Speaker of the House, even though Representatives Sensenbrenner and Conyers have fashioned a very good compromise, a bipartisan compromise joined in by Representative Scott and Shabbat, a real bipartisan compromise that the Speaker is refusing to bring to the floor. We think that it is unconscionable for the representatives of the American people to put stumbling blocks or allow stumbling blocks to be in the way of the vote. There's nothing more fundamental to a democracy than an unfettered right to vote. We're here today to ask the Speaker to allow us to vote on restoring the Voting Rights Act to its proper form. If we need any indication of whether or not it's needed, one needs to only look at the plethora of states, not just in the South, Pennsylvania, another state, that just decided that it would erect stumbling blocks to voters trying to cast an unfettered ballot. So I believe that it is incumbent upon us to do what is necessary to say once and for all, we believe that a fundamental right, such as the right to vote, should never be obstructed. And with that, I would like to yield to my longtime friend, John Conyers, who...
Thank you. Top of the morning. Top of the morning, everyone. 50 years ago, Democrats and Republicans set partisan divisions aside to enact the Voting Rights Act. And since Shelby versus Holder, the decision that struck at the heart of the act, the Section 5 pre-clearance provision, we've witnessed attack after attack throughout this country on voting rights. And so as the only sitting member of the Congress who voted for the act in 1965, I implore all of my congressional colleagues to come together to protect not only all of our citizens' right to vote, but to safeguard democracy itself. I congratulate the leader and everyone else that is here. Thank you.
Great, John. Well done. John. I'll just go ahead and get started. I'm Congressman G. Butterfield, chairman of the Congressional Black Caucus. 50 years ago, August 6, 1965, was a day in American history that reversed decades of African-American disenfranchisement from the political process. The bipartisan enacted VRA resulted in the elimination of the literacy test, enabling thousands of black Americans to register to vote for the first time. The VRA also enacted a Section 2 that allowed black communities to litigate discriminatory election schemes. We used Section 2 successfully, litigating challenges in state and local communities. After winning those cases, federal judges required significant changes in redistricting and election schemes and systems, now resulting in African Americans and other minority groups being elected to Congress and other important positions. Finally, Section 5 was enacted requiring jurisdictions with a proven past of voter disenfranchisement to submit any new changes to their election laws to obtain federal preclearance before the decision could be implemented. Section 5, in the outset, was ignored by southern states. Slowly, covered jurisdictions began to submit their election changes after we demanded that they do so. Most were approved. Some were not. The critics of Section 5 have been unrelenting in their attack on Section 5. On June 25, 2013, the U.S. Supreme Court addressed the Section 5 issue. It did not find Section 5 to be unconstitutional. The court, rather, called on this Congress to update the formula that determines which jurisdictions should receive scrutiny in their election changes. Unless this Congress and the Republican majority update the formula to determine which jurisdictions should submit their changes, it will be a license, ladies and gentlemen. It will be an invitation to states and their subdivisions to pass discriminatory election laws with impunity. Many states have already started, including my state of North Carolina. The Supreme Court's decision was on June 25th of 2013. On July 25th of 2013, 30 days later, the North Carolina legislature passed the most discriminatory laws in the nation, along with Ohio and Florida and other states. And that legislation, those pieces of legislation, went into effect. Why? No Section 5 review. Therefore, the Congressional Black Caucus calls on the Republican majority to amend the Voting Rights Act, to restore the Voting Rights Act, and give every American unfettered access to the ballot box.
Thank you very much. I want to thank my friend and my colleague for yielding. Today is a very warm day. It is really hot. It was not this hot on August 6, 1965. It was not this warm on March 7, 1965, when we attempted to walk across the Edmund Pettus Bridge from Selma to Montgomery. But we are here 50 years later, demanding that the Congress, that our Republican colleagues do the right thing and bring a voting rights bill to the floor. I've said it over and over again, and I will be brief because I said it's hard. The vote is precious. It is almost sacred in a democratic society. It is the most powerful non-violent tool that we have at our disposal. We should get it right. If we can get it right, maybe, just maybe, here in America, our system will serve as a model for the rest of the world. People struggled. People died. People were murdered. The 3 civil rights workers in Mississippi, Andy Goodman, Mickey Schwerner, and James Chaney. And we cannot forget the young African-American man, Jimmy Lee Jackson, in Lowndes County, who later died in Selma, Alabama. We come too far. We made too much progress, and we cannot and must not go back. We must open up our democratic way of government and let all of our people come in. And it doesn't matter whether we're black or white, Latino, Asian American, or Native American. America is for all of us, Democrats and Republicans and independents alike. The Congress must do the right thing. Thank you.
All right.